Hello and welcome to Tech Week in View on Megawatt News, where we look at the big stories that have interested us this week. So while Nintendo Wii owners rejoice at the fact that they can now access the BBC's on-demand service, the iPlayer, on their console, on the television, PS3 coders, and one in particular, has got a bit disgruntled that the BBC hasn't given them access as well. Instead of sort of using the usual channels of maybe complaints or whatever, the guy has gone along and actually made his own rework of the CS code that allows you to watch these things. So the BBC iPlayer comes to the PS3 this week. Well, it's not surprising really. I mean, it's had 42 million downloads so far this year, and it's, you know, it shows that people aren't just going to sit down and be told the word from the word. It's great. The interesting thing about the PS3 iPlayer is that obviously it was very easy to do because someone has done it that's not the BBC. But the BBC have turned around and said, well, actually, we really like it. We're going to do it, but hey, we don't know when. Which is a bit of a disappointment, to be honest, because obviously it's out there. Someone's done it. I tell you what, the best option would be, why don't you just hire the guy and then you've got the code already. And that's the BBC iPlayer. So if you've been put off by the price of an Apple computer to date, then you might be interested to hear news about a new American company starting what they're calling Open Mac, the Apple alternative. So at the beginning of the week, we reported on a story that a new Apple alternative called Open Mac would be available to run the operating system on a PC, making it cheaper all around. It sounded too good to be true, and unfortunately, by the look of it, it probably is, with a number of journalists finding out even more information about the company involved. Firstly, there was the name change from Open Mac to Open Computer. Then there was the fact that when you phone the office, just a Robert would answer it, probably just a security guard. If that wasn't enough, the address of the company changed 3 times in probably as many days, suggesting that maybe the company didn't even exist, or the product didn't even exist either. What's our suggestion? Well, I would probably sit tight, and if you really want a cheap Apple Mac, it's probably best just to look on eBay. O2 and Carphone Warehouse have shocked the industry yesterday by announcing that they're slashing £100 off the iPhone, making it a new street price of £169 for the 8GB model. So the iPhone got a price reduction this week. Woohoo! Excellent. It means it's almost affordable. You know, we say almost affordable because, you know, you still have to pay £169 for it, which is still more than you probably have to pay for most phones on a contract when they're normally given away free in the UK. But either way, what is interesting about the £169 drop, or the £100 drop to 169 should we say, is that it's only an O2 and Carphone Warehouse deal. That means that they're either scared that Apple are about to release a new iPhone in June and therefore going to try and dump the stock as much as possible, or Apple didn't know about the price drop and therefore they're just trying to dump the stock as fast as possible. What's interesting though is that, as I say, Apple's not doing it, and they're probably, to be honest, probably not even price protecting this sort of stuff, which means that they really are panicking and dumping the stock. Over the weekend, Sony used a show in Korea to show off a new 25 megapixel full frame digital SLR called the Alpha 900. With Sony showing off its 25 megapixel camera and Samsung hinting that it's got a 25 megapixel camera in the works, news also came to us this week after filming that Nikon have supposedly got a 25 megapixel camera as well, which implies that we're about to be hit by a wrath of 25 million pixel cameras. Now, what does this mean? Well, to be honest, it raises 2 questions for me. One is, what happened to 14, 16, 18, 20, 24, etc.? What happened to all those sizes? Have we just decided, they're useless, we'll just jump from 10 and 12s to 25s? And the second is, do I really need an image that big? I mean, how big are the file sizes going to be? They're going to be gigantic. It's going to be like, hey, I've got a 2GB card, oh, I've only got 3 pictures. Never mind. Plus, you know, how often do I need to print a picture, and even as a professional, that is the size of a house, maybe, you know, even the size of an office building? You've got to be able to, you know, it'd be great for cropping. I mean, that's just bonkers. Well, those were my thoughts on the big stories of the week from the wonderful world of technology. Why don't you tune in to our feature episode where I visited the Museum of Computing in Swindon to get old school and retro.